Republican vice presidential candidate Vance is slamming a superseding indictment against former President Trump. And even without her endorsement, Taylor Swift's fans are organizing for Vice President Harris. Good morning, I'm Janine Herbst from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Biden says his administration will defend a program that's aimed at helping nearly 500,000 unauthorized migrants who are married to U.S. citizens. The Keeping Families Together initiative was temporarily halted by a federal judge in Texas. NPR Sergio Martinez Beltran has more.
In a statement, Biden calls Monday's ruling wrong and says that America, quote, is not a country that tears families apart. His Keeping Families Together program allows migrants who are in the U.S. illegally but have lived in the country for at least 10 years and who are married to a U.S. citizen to apply for legal status without having to leave the U.S. Those who qualify will be shielded from deportation, could get a work permit, and eventually apply for citizenship. But 16 Republican-led states challenged the program last week, claiming it was unlawful. Monday's ruling means the Biden administration can continue accepting applications, but for the next 14 days can take no further action. Sergio Martinez Beltran, NPR News, Austin.
Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, campaigning in Nashville yesterday, slammed special counsel Jack Smith after he filed a superseding indictment against former President Trump. This after the Supreme Court granted former presidents substantial immunity.
It looks like Jack Smith doing more of what he does, which is filing these absurd lawsuits in an effort to influence the election.
The charges stem from the deadly January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol and Trump's efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. On social media, Trump called the new indictment ridiculous. Taylor Swift has yet to endorse a candidate in the 2024 presidential race, but some of her fans are taking matters into their own hands. Thousands joined a call last night focused on organizing for Vice President Harris. It was put together by the group Swifties for Kamala. NPR's Elena Moore reports.
It was a stacked lineup of speakers, all focused on getting voters to take their love story for the pop star and turn it into momentum for Harris's campaign. There was no shortage of Swift-related Easter eggs.
So there are just 5 fortnights until Election Day, but we are not out of the woods yet.
That's Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, one of several political leaders who urged attendees to take action. In between speeches, organizers made a point to highlight voter resources and tools for attendees to get their communities involved. By the end of the event, the group reported raising roughly $130,000. Elena Moore, NPR News.
Interest rates on home loans fell again to the lowest level in more than a year. The Mortgage Bankers Association says the average rate on a 30-year fixed-rate loan, the most popular, fell to 6.4%, and that's the lowest since April of 2023. Mortgage applications edged up slightly as would-be buyers wait for more interest rate drops. The 2024 Paralympic Games begin with an opening ceremony. Today in Paris, more than 4,400 athletes will compete in nearly 200 events. NPR's Becky Sullivan has more.
Paralympic athletes must overcome all sorts of challenges to compete at such a high level, from amputated limbs to loss of vision. The Games will feature events across 22 sports. Many, like swimming races and the 100-meter dash, will be run multiple times, once for each impairment classification. In total, about 550 medals will be awarded. China has dominated the medal count at the Paralympics for the past 2 decades. The U.S. hasn't finished better than 3rd place at the Summer Paralympics since hosting them in Atlanta in 1996. This year, more than 200 American athletes will participate. Organizers in Paris say more than 2 million tickets have been sold, which would make it the second highest attendance ever. Becky Sullivan, NPR News.
This is NPR.